there's always an impression that it's so hard to grow food, you know, and it really isn't. Sometimes we're in our own way, actually. So this was something so simple that we did. And when those summer annuals were done and the summer veggies were done, if we just pulled all that out of there and just left it sit idle, it would be doing nothing. And instead, we just threw some radish seed in there and was like, we'll just wait for the radish to grow. Hey y'all, got a little video here on our fall radishes. So this super simple thing you can do if you have any kind of little prepared planting bed. Say you had annuals in it for the summer, and if you can pull those out, they've died back, you have opportunity to plant cool season veggies most likely. And that's what we did. I have a humble little planting patch in our yard right in front of the front porch. I'll show you. And I cleaned the annuals out of it and just filled it with radish seed and just waited then. And so the radish now are ready to eat. So gonna be picking some of those radishes, plucking them out of the soil actually, and washing them off and getting them ready to enjoy with our lunch here at Twin Oaks Family Farm today. So I want to show you the little radish patch. Thanks y'all for joining me, I appreciate it. So this is our front porch here at Twin Oaks Family Farm. We enjoy the front porch so much. And we used to have planting beds all the way in front of the house and actually around the north side of it, but it became a lot of maintenance, so we put it all back to grass. But this year we did a little planting bed right here in front of the front porch, and this was actually filled with tomatoes and lettuce and annual phlox flowers. We're in Southeast Ohio. Maybe a month before our first frost, I had gone ahead and pulled everything out of here because our nights had dropped cool enough where, for example, the tomatoes weren't ripening as fast and the flowers were not reblooming. So went ahead and pulled everything out. And of course, this had already been prepared in terms of soil for excellent growing. We used a planting medium here called Pro Mix. So we put that down back in the spring when we were starting the bed here. So all of that great planting medium is still here. So I went ahead and just put radish seeds all throughout the bed. So I've harvested some already, but now we've got more ready to harvest. When you see the tops of the radish there, and you get the sense of that round shape in the radish, then it's probably ready to go. Good to pull the radishes. So let's get some of these pulled. Isn't that pretty? I forget what this was called. I'll try to look it up and put a note in the comments and description what variety of radish this was. It's a smaller one, but it'll still be tasty. This one may not be too small, maybe just right. Oh yeah, nice. Oh, we're gonna enjoy these. I think just one more because I actually already have some pulled. Okay, so let's go over and wash these up and get them ready for enjoying with our lunch. So I like to go ahead and just try to wash these up outside. It's just so much easier. So I've washed a couple. I just have a pan here ready to put them in. I'm going to wash them for the most part out here outside. And then when I go in, I can take the tops off and cut the roots off and then slice them up however we want them for enjoying. So just got my hose here. We'll try to... I usually use two hands to do this, but maybe I can accomplish it this way. That's so nice. It's just so easy. I don't have any of that dirt going down my sink. Fresh radishes are so good. Have y'all had fresh radish right from your garden or right from a farmer's market? They are delicious. So the radish patch, really want to show you that. And radish is always a good thing to put down in an empty planting space for about 3 reasons, really. For one thing, it's ground cover. It's kind of filling that space so other things aren't going to take up root in there, like weeds, for example. Also, it's breaking up the soil. So if any compaction wanted to be forming in that soil with nothing growing there, in this instance, it's not going to be eroding away, but you could also experience erosion potentially. So having something growing in there combats both. It combats compaction and it combats erosion. And then with radish, with anything that's like a cool season veggie, the third benefit is you're going to get a harvest of food out of there. And I'm gonna tell y'all, if you haven't already experienced this for yourselves, if you don't already have this truth kind of imprinted on your heart, there's no food as good as the food you produced. I promise you. There's no food that's gonna taste as good to you and look as good to you on your plate as the food that you grew, raised the livestock for, hunted. If you had a hand in producing that food, you're gonna look at that food and be like, you know, I grew that, I raised that, I produced that, and it's gonna taste infinitely better. Almost every time. You could have a dud in there every now and then, but no, fresh radishes are so good. So another couple things we're looking forward to. We haven't harvested our white and yellow potatoes yet, and we haven't harvested our sweet potatoes yet, so those things are coming up. So we'll try to keep you in the loop, but let us know about your experience with radishes, and if you haven't grown them, if you have any kind of planting space that's just sitting empty, or you could even take a pot, a deep flower pot, and fill that with your dirt, and don't overplant it, just put some in there, enough, you know, for a serving at a time, and you could actually grow your own radishes. So if you still have time to work with your weather to do that, we give it a thumbs up. Highly recommend it. So join us again at Twin Oaks Family Farm. Thank you. God bless y'all. We built this part of the house about 18 years ago. The entire house actually has a finished basement underneath it, and even the backstory on the house is kind of neat and interesting, because we originally built 25 years ago, and we put the roof that's on the top of the house on just the basement part and finished the interior of the basement and lived down there for about 8 years. And then when we wanted to put the addition on top here at ground level, my husband and help from family and friends actually just built the exterior walls back at the family farm, laid those exterior walls on a flatbed trailer, brought them over here to the house site, got a crane truck in here, lifted the roof off of the basement, took those pre-built walls, prefabbed walls they made off of the flatbed trailer, and fastened them onto the house. Of course, the appropriate prep work had been done when it was built as a basement to be able to do this later. And they just set those prefab walls on there, and then the crane truck set the roof back down on the house, and like instant house almost. So, but the porch then was a feature that I really wanted. So they did a 10-foot deep porch for me, the length of the long side of the house. So do any of y'all remember the dent corn project? So we've still got our corn here. So I was trying to backtrack and think of the background a little bit here. So we raised dent corn in a little garden patch. So this is what it produced, okay? So in dent corn, I think it'll come through in the recording, little indentation in the kernel. So that's kind of its namesake, why it's called dent corn. But this is not a sweet corn, so you're not going to be getting this for your summer cookouts. You're going to be letting this mature more on the ear. We let it mature a long time in the garden, and these kernels are going to get real hard, more like field corn. So the value of this corn is, for example, grinding into cornmeal to make things from cornmeal. I'm sure this could also be used for livestock, but field corn, more specifically, is typically your livestock corn. But we grew these in the garden, really only grew about 35 stalks of it. To clean up that garden patch, we just cut it all down. I have 5 porch posts, so we did 7 in a bundle to make our corn fodder shocks for some autumn decoration. But meanwhile, I'm also accomplishing just letting that dent corn dry down there, because at some point we'll take all this down off the porch, but we'll also want to take this corn and we'll want to shell this off the cob, probably going to do that by hand, and we'll want to grind that down into some kind of cornmeal with the goal of hopefully to make something from it. I would love to make tortillas from it. That's my ultimate goal. So we'll keep you posted on the dent corn, but it was Reed's dent corn. It did great here.